Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today, can you finish your water please? No, I won't make you. So today I'm going to be giving you guys the full video of Ruby and the explanation of how we came to get her, basically her story in the last year, and what we know of her. So yeah, I'm just gonna get into explaining all of that and you guys getting to officially meet Ruby. Booger, her name is Ruby. We actually don't know what breed she is, but that's my hair, thank you. We actually don't. The trainer that we are working with her, and I'll get more into that later, but the trainer that we are working on with her says that she's about what? Says that she is about possibly like 3 to 4 years old. Which I, honestly, just because of how tiny she is, I thought she was just still a little puppy. So that was shocking to me that she's that old. But I can see it because she still has a little bit of gray hair and, don't test me, woman. She has a little bit of gray hair on her back, but she's so teeny that I can just do this and I can lift her up just like this, and she's so cute. You're so cute. You are so cute. You are so cute. Okay, I'll let you go pay. Where's your baby? So basically how we came to acquire Ruby was she was our neighbor's dog. And the full story is a year ago, on the 24th actually, her and a mama pit bull were just roaming the streets. No clue where the heck they belonged to, and obviously we could not house them because the boys just did not get along with them, and it was more stressful than anything. So what we did was we brought them in to our garage. Our garage is fully AC'd. It has a couch, it has chairs, so they had places to roam, and but they were safe. They weren't going to get hit by a car. They had food in their bellies. They had water all night, so it was the safest place for them. So they stayed overnight, and I took them around because they just followed me. So I took them around to all of the houses. Nobody knew whose dogs they were. Excuse me, until I came up to this one neighbor and she said, oh yeah, they belong over to that house. And so I took them back. I knocked on the door, and the owners were grateful. They were like, oh, thank you so much. Like, I didn't know they even got out, you know. And I thought it was just like a case of like, oh, they got out of the fence, you know, scary time. It happens. It happens to people. Our dogs have gotten out of our fence, so I understand. It happens. Fast forwarding to like a week or two later, they would get out again, and it was mostly her. She was the black little dog, so it was mostly her. We were kind of scared about like running over her because we saw the mama pit bull instantly, but it was Ruby that we didn't see, and she was the one who was a little daredevil, and she was the one who she was the one who kept like running in front of cars, and like just running in front of cars, and just didn't really care what happened. She didn't know any better because obviously she is a dog, and she doesn't know any better. And their fence was not in the greatest shape. It's still not in the greatest shape. So fast forward a couple of months, we didn't see them at all. Like they must have kept them inside. We didn't see them at all. They weren't roaming around. And then like a week later, they popped back up. And I was like, okay, so this is like a reoccurring thing. So I would continue to pick them up and put them in my car, and I would drive them to their house, and I would return both of them. And then a couple months after that, we didn't see the mama pit bull, like at all. All we saw was Ruby. And me personally, I didn't dare ask where the mama pit bull was. The mama pit bull's name was Goldie. And I didn't dare ask where she was because I don't know. She could have ran away. She could have passed away. There's a number of different things that could have happened. So I didn't dare ask. So we didn't see her for about 7 months. But this one right here, she kept getting out of the fence, and it was just time. So a couple of times I did bring her back here because it was late at night, and we just put her in the garage, let her sleep in here, and gave her water and food, and then I put a leash on her, and I would take her back the next day. Fast forwarding and then rewinding back a couple of months, there was a couple of times where she just kept getting out, and I would put her in their back in their backyard, and she would just get right back out again with the holes in the fence. So I messaged them, and I sent them my number. And in the meantime, me and my husband, we had some spare wood from our fence building, and I was like, you know what, like, we're gonna take pieces of fence and just put them around the edge, and that way there's no holes that she can get out of. We put them there, and we helped them fix their fence, and the next day all of the wood pieces were gone. They were all gone, and you could tell a dog did not move them. It was a human who moved them. So I'm like, okay, we tried to give you a solution. Like, what are you doing? It was like for a couple of days that I had her here in the garage, and I said, hey, we have Ruby, and and I left them my number, and I said, just contact me whenever you get home, and I'll bring her over. So they never contacted. So I walked over, and I put her in the backyard, and she stayed for a second, and then came right back out. So I then put her back in the backyard, and I went home, and when I left that same day, she was out again. So I was like, oh my God, like, what's going on? So I knocked on their door, and I took her home, and they were like, oh, thank you, and they just kind of threw her in one of the rooms they had, and I was like, okay, yeah, you're welcome, for sure. They decided to get a little, like, baby fence for inside their backyard so that she could have a little place where she could still be outside, she could still go to the bathroom, but she can't get out of their big fence. And that was pushed up against their house. First of all, it was very tiny. She didn't have any room to even go anywhere. I'm not even sure she had food or water in that enclosure, so I really don't know, because I really can't say, but all I know is that it would be 100 degrees out, and this poor little girl would be out in that enclosure all day long, all night long, and no one would be home. A couple of weeks ago, we ended up having, and I was obviously worried about her. Hi, honey. Oh, you're so sweet. I know you're so sweet. You're so sweet. So a couple of weeks ago, there was a huge, and I mean huge thunderstorm, to the point where I was at work and our power went out. That's how bad it was. And I come home, and I come home and I get my dogs, and I let them outside, bring them back in, and I leave to go to the store to go get some groceries because, the storm had subsided by then. I went to the store to get some groceries, and as I drove by, there she was. And they have a little playhouse in their backyard too. She was in that little playhouse, chained up, no food, no water, and there was buckets around there with rainwater. She couldn't even get to the rainwater. That's how bad it was. And so my conclusion was that she was out in that storm because nobody was even home. So they had put her out there in the morning. No one was home. She was out in that storm all alone. and probably scared out of her mind. So that was like my last straw. I started crying. I called my mom. I had a long talk with my mom. I ended up calling my husband at work because I told him, I was like, she was out in that storm. And he was like, you're a grown woman. If you want to bring her home, you bring her home. So what I did was I came back from the store and I drove by a little bit and she was still out there. Nobody was still home. So what I did was I grabbed a piece of paper, I grabbed a pen, and I wrote on the paper, this is Brittany. I'm taking Ruby. No one was home. I'm taking her, you know? And I put that on their door and I went in the backyard and that's when I found her. She was soaking wet in this little playhouse, caked in mud, and she had no food near her. She had no water. Like I said, the rain buckets were near the thing, but there was no way. She was on a chain that was so short, there was no way to even get to the rainwater bucket. So even if she wanted water, she didn't have any. Obviously there was mosquitoes because there's mosquitoes all around here. We're by the coast, so there's going to be mosquitoes everywhere. And that is the last straw that just put me over the edge. Like, she's so little and she's so sweet. So after that, we pretty much had her here full time. And we were trying to find her a brand new home. She's been okay with me, like, since the moment I met her. When she met my husband, she was a little fearful and, like, she growled, barked at him, and, you know, different stuff like that. But it wasn't, like, to the point where she was, like, lunging at him, nothing like that. She was just scared. But with me, she loved me from the moment that she saw me. Like, kissed me, always, like, cuddled me, you know, just everything like that. So we ended up finding a potential home for her, and with the potential home, like, they were super excited, you know, they even bought her some treats, you know, like different things like that. And this lady, she's awesome. She saves a lot of animals. So I was like, you know, I'm really trusting. And when we went to go meet them, this little girl right here, she just started growling, barking, kind of like growling and barking at them. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, you never did this to me. Like, what's going on? And so we sat there for a good, like, 30-40 minutes, just feeding her treats, trying to see if, I know, trying to see if maybe, she would warm up to them, and nothing. And so we ended up bringing her back home. But my husband had texted the owner and they said, oh yeah, she doesn't do well with new people. So that was like a huge shock. And she was like, yeah, that's why I was shocked when you said that your wife said that she came right to her. You know, that was a shock to me. Like, there was a lot of stuff there that they never told us. They also said that basically, they also told us that one of their parents just dropped the dog off and said, here, she's your dog, take care of her, and just kind of left her. And it was really, really sad. Like, it was so sad because, like, how could you do that to a poor animal, you know? And so it just kind of puts into perspective that, you know, this is absolutely what I want to do in life. And I'm starting with this little lady, Ruby. I'm starting with this little girl, and, you know, she's amazing. And right now we do have her. Oh, okay. Right now we do have her and us working with a trainer here where we live. She does have a little bit of fear aggression, so if she's scared of new people or stuff like that, she will bark and she will try and lunge at them, and she's just terrified. And her worst fears are hands and feet. She doesn't like sudden movements with hands or feet. With me and my husband, she's fine. Like she's fine. But with new people, she does not like hands nor feet, which kind of tells me that maybe possibly she could have been hit or kicked. She's warming up to people. So right now we are on a strict, training schedule with her, and yeah, so that's basically what we're doing right now, and she's happy, she's healthy. That's all I can ask for. And yeah, that's all I can ask for. We actually introduced her to Branch today, and it went very well, surprisingly. But yeah, she's just my little love, right? Can you close out the video with me? Can you close it out? Well, I hope you guys liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did like it. Comment down below if you have already rescued an animal. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys in my next video. Remember guys, it is a life worth fighting for, and I will see you guys in my next video. Say bye, Ruby. Hey, say bye. Say bye. I love you. I love you. Thank you.